Harper One, the Martin Luther King Jr. Library, and HarperAudio present Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Love by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Read by Dominic Hoffman. Forward. In Martin Luther King Jr.'s last sermon at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, where his father had been pastor since the time King Jr. was a child, and he himself was then co-pastor, he essentially delivered his own eulogy. He did not trumpet his achievements, his Nobel Prize for Peace, his victories in winning landmark legislation in the battle for civil rights, or his stature as one of the greatest intellects and spiritual leaders in modern history. Instead, he said that he hoped he would be remembered after death as someone who tried to love somebody. To understand another human being thoroughly is always a challenge, and King spelled out that difficulty in his 1960 sermon, The Three Dimensions of a Complete Life. You look here this morning, and I know you're saying, "We see Martin Luther King." I hate to disappoint you. You merely see my body. You can never see my mind. You can never see my personality. You can never see the me that makes me me. So in a real sense, everything that we see in life is something of a shadow cast by that which we do not see. Plato was right. The visible is a shadow cast by the invisible. In King's writings, the question of what animated him, the beam that silhouetted his essence, seems to be made visible in the subject he highlighted and turned to repeatedly: love. Over the course of his life as a preacher and in his unwavering endurance pressing for civil rights, love stands out as the value that propelled his actions, bolstered his commitment, and ignited his courage. Love's beam shone through his whole public life, from his earliest sense of love as the law of the universe to that plea late in his life to be known for his commitment to love. For King, love was clearly inseparable from God, a love that encompassed everyone and created all. He repeatedly leaned on the call to love our fellow men because God loves them. In the pages that follow, we see King examining love through myriad prisms, as a creative force, a political principle, a means of psychological stability. He elucidates its varied forms: filial, parental, romantic, platonic, humanitarian, and holy love, considering their respective powers, limitations, and misinterpretations. He explores the need for each of us to love ourselves as a first step toward greater love of others. Only through love can one follow activist and spiritual leader Mohandas K. Gandhi's strategy of nonviolent resistance. We even sense that King's belief in God's love for each of us was the only value that could sustain him as he endured severe duress over the years of his life, including some 29 arrests, solitary confinement, 2 firebombings of his home, constant death threats against himself and his family, manufactured tax fraud charges that were ultimately dismissed, snarling dogs, fire hoses, a stabbing, beatings. All this he experienced in only 39 years of life. Some of the sermons and speeches included in these pages have been excerpted to highlight the material where King specifically addressed the topic of love. Whether the speech or sermon is excerpted is indicated in the introduction to each chapter, and ellipses are included in the text where material was omitted. As a preacher traveling the country and the world, King would at times give the same sermons in different locations, but with variations. We have generally included a significant version of a sermon and then added any relevant
Sample complete. Ready to continue?